everyone. Good to see you. I'm Jane Evarian. I am a career design strategist and happy to see all of you. I'm part of the Center for Spartan Engineering. I also have a small business on the side called Who Logic. I wrote the book, Who Logic. We will take a look at some of the materials from the book in a few minutes. Welcome to Resume Design. What I would actually really love, I know we've got about 43 participants here. This was posted in Handshake, so I'm wondering if there are any non-engineering students in the room today. So can you use chat and let me know if your major is something other than an engineering major? And if so, yeah, okay, so we've got professional and public writing. You are here. Wonderful, Charlotte, thank you. Anyone else? Other majors? I just want you to know that you're welcome. And even though Garth was mentioning a few of thoughts about the engineering applied learning class, you're very welcome. So we're glad to see you here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we'll get started. So we are talking about resumes today. And I'm hoping that you will read through chapter 3 because it's in the Google folder. If you're not sure how to grab the Google folder, go back to chat. The link has been posted several times, and I'll post it again in a few minutes. But if you read chapter 3, especially the beginning, you'll see that very quickly I indicate that I'm not overly, I love resumes, but I don't think that they are the end all be all. I think what they help you do is assess your experiences, really think about the skills that you've gained through your experiences, and it gets you ready to pitch. When you're networking, when you're interviewing. We all need a resume. They haven't gone away, so they're incredibly important. But I think about them as a tool that really helps you better understand the value of your skills and experiences. And the word value is really important here. So we're going to talk about that today. So what is this thing, Who Logic? What the heck is it? Here's what it is. It's a valuation tool. It really just helps you reflect on your experiences, whether they're for pay, work experiences, volunteering, internships, applied learning projects, anything that you have going on. It's just a valuation tool. It's helping you uncover, articulate, and leverage the value of your skills and experiences. And it's just using these 3 basic questions to do that. It's either, what did I do? And those are, tasks related to work that you've done or projects. Or it can be, what do I do? So things that I'm doing right now. So think about what you're doing right now, whether it's going to class, whether it's that, you're working somehow, you're volunteering. What do I do? Or what will I do? So you can kind of use it as a planning tool as well. But it basically is asking you, what do you do? What are your tasks, projects, activities related to an experience? And then how did I do that work? Or how do I do that work? Or how will I do that work? How is super important. This is often what you are leveraging. How has to do with skills. It has to do with the methods that you're using to get work done, or strategies, any sort of technical skills that you're using. And then finally, the other question is, what outcomes am I producing? Or what outcomes do I intend to produce? You can almost think of outcome as, why am I doing this? To get to what? To produce what? So what, how, and outcome, super simple. What did I do? How did I do it? What outcomes did I either intend to produce or that I actually produced? That's who, super easy. What, how, outcome. Okay, Why does it matter? Why does who matter? Why is it useful to you in the job market? How does it help you become market ready? So at any given point in time, we're seeking jobs or we're seeking an opportunity. Maybe we're seeking acceptance into graduate school. Maybe we're trying to get a competitive scholarship. Anything that you're working toward, you're trying to do. Most commonly, and in our context today, it's about getting a job. So when you're seeking a job, what's important to know is that you go into the marketplace, the job market. And in any market, there are buyers and there are sellers. So let's think about this for a second. When you go into the job market, who are you? Are you the buyer or are you the seller? You're the seller because the employer is buying. They're buying your talent. They're buying your skills. They're buying your potential to add value. And the way they do that is through valuation. This is why your resume is really important because often it's the first thing they will see from you. So they're doing valuation. They're actually looking at the skills that you're promoting and featuring in your resume. They're looking at outcomes. So they're looking at evidence that you've added value in the past, even if that value add is that you've enhanced your learning. Okay. I just want to create this mindset that who is a valuation tool. It's helping you uncover, articulate, and leverage your value. And when you put yourself out into the job market, it's a market of buyers and sellers. You're the buyer, you're the seller. You're selling your skills and experiences. So you're selling value. And the company is the buyer. They're buying value. So we know that the way that they compensate you for the value that you deliver is through a paycheck. Okay, so let's just set this tone of valuation. Okay, what I want to do is spend just a couple of minutes just talking about resume basics. And I'm going to just pull up a resume to do that. So I'm going to stop sharing my slide deck, and then I'm going to pull up a resume. So here's a basic resume. And I just want to go through some of the section headings. What do we typically find on a resume? My opinion is that you can source resume templates really easily. If you're an engineering student, just go to the center's website and you can easily find resume templates. Even if you just in Word, you can find resume templates. I would caution you not to put too many graphics, not to use too much, tables, especially graphics, because the application tracking software, which is the software that most companies use to do the first round of resume review, it sometimes struggles picking up graphics. So in many ways, you're better off just creating a standard resume for applying to jobs. If you want to create a really cool, fun, jazzy resume with a bunch of graphics and stuff like that, I would say use those when you're sending your resume to someone via email, like some person, because they're going to be able to see it and interpret it. Whereas an application tracking software, I call it the bot, sometimes struggles with the graphics. So what we see here, and that's just some general advice, but now let's talk a little bit about what we see on this resume. So we've got contact information. Here's Jane Avatar. She's the character from the book. She's not named for me. She's named for Jane Doe. This is just the after who logic version of the resume. So here's her name. It's prominently displayed. The city and state that she lives in. Here's her phone number. Here's her email address. She's got her LinkedIn URL right here on the resume. So it's easy to see her on LinkedIn. You'll notice in the Google folder, I did put some tips on using LinkedIn. So hopefully that's helpful for you as well. In this particular instance, we created a value proposition. This is kind of like a positioning statement. You don't need it. You can have it if you want it. It's not critical. Your education, really important. You're leveraging your education. It's a differentiator. So we want it prominently displayed up at the top of the page. Sometimes people will put the education section at the bottom of the page, and that's often because they're leveraging years of work experience. The education is less important. So that's the more seasoned professional. I would say put your education section at the top of the page. And then this is where we have a lot of fun with WhoLogic, your experience section. So you can see Jane has worked at her university as a university guide. So she's helping the university, enroll students, admit students, get potential students excited about coming to the university. She's had a delivery driver job at a small little restaurant called the Village Pub, and she's worked at Taco Bell. And then she's got a list of activities and skills. Skills are really important to mention on your resume because if you're using the application tracking software, and most of us are when we apply for a job, that's one of the first things that it's trying to screen for. Do you have skills that are related to the job? And you want to work toward writing your resume in a way that is aligned with the direction that you're going in. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. This is just sort of basic resume formatting. You've got these section headings, and you're listing your experiences, but you aren't just listing those experiences. I know there's a lot going on in chat, so I'm hoping that Garth is responding to chat while I move through this. And let us continue forward. Okay. So you saw the section on the resume called experience. I want you to remember that you can write about many of your experiences. Some people think I can only write about work experiences where I have been paid. That's not true. You can write about experiences that are that demonstrate skills that you're building. So if you're having an experience right now where you're learning Tableau, and you're very interested in data visualization, your most current job is you're working at Taco Bell, but you're taking this course and you have some applied projects where you are learning the specifics about Tableau, you can put that in your experience section. Anything that's related and connected to the direction that you're going belongs on your resume. And don't undervalue experiences that you are having. You know, you may be working with old people, helping them keep their cognitive skills. You're building customer service skills, you're building interpersonal skills, communication skills. Don't undervalue your experiences, okay? I can't say that enough. So here's how we use WhoLogic. We use it in the experience section, and we use it as a way to create something called value points. So I don't even call them bullet points. I call them value points. So the way you do this is you start out by choosing experiences to include on your resume: jobs, internships, co-op, volunteering, club membership, course projects, research, study abroad, student athletes often put their student athletic experiences. So anything that can demonstrate skills. So you choose tasks and projects from each experience that have the potential to demonstrate value. There's that word again. We really want to highlight value because employers are hiring you based on their understanding that you have the potential to add value. And then you use WhoLogic to evaluate your experiences. Again, I'm going to come back to the Who framework, super easy. What did I do? List your projects, tasks, and initiatives. How did I do the work? What skills, what methods, what technical applications was I using to get the work done? And what outcomes did I produce? Or did I intend to produce? And that's the results. That's the contribution to the company. That's your learning. So what I want to do is run through and show you a few value point examples. So this is before Who Logic. This is someone who was responsible for social media. So my answer to that when I see something like this on a resume is, so what? What's the value of doing this work? I don't know your skills. I don't know what you contributed in terms of doing this work. But once you assess the experience, what did I do? How did I do it? What was the outcome? Then you can create what I call a value point. So after Who Logic, we've got built social media presence. That's the what. Using coupons and time-sensitive campaigns. Deployed Google Analytics to measure traffic. Increased sales by 25% within 6 months of launch. So here's the how, using coupons, time-sensitive campaigns, Google Analytics. My outcome is to measure traffic and to increase sales by 25% within 6 months of launch. So I ask you this, if you were making a decision to bring somebody in for an interview and you were looking at their resume, would you be more excited about someone who wrote a standard bullet point or someone who wrote a value point? I know. You'd be more interested in someone who shares with you the value of their experience and skills that they've acquired as a part of that experience. Here's another one. Helped with elderly population at a local assisted living center. That's fine. It's a bullet point, but I have no idea the value associated with the experience. So after Who Logic, look what happens. Supported a caseload of 10 elderly clients with different ability levels to strengthen cognition and engagement using memory exercises, chair stretching, and video games. Okay. Oh, look what happened here. We've actually got the intended outcome in the middle of the statement to strengthen cognition and engagement. And our how is pulling up the rear on this value point. Totally fine. It doesn't matter the order. All right, here's the final one. Analyze food insecurity data for urban centers across the United States. This is literally taken from an internship. After Who Logic, analyze food insecurity using a federal database and advanced Excel formulas to pinpoint risk factors. Develop 12 recommendations for 53 urban centers across the United States. Again, I ask you, who do you want to bring in for an interview? And if you've zoned out, zone in for a second. Who do you think is more ready to talk about this experience and to pitch it during a networking conversation or an interview? I'm telling you, it's this person. The person who's assessed their experience is more equipped to talk about this experience from a value add perspective than a person who's just listing what they did. So I implore you, don't get stuck in the what, okay? All right, so here's what I want to do next. I want to have you build a value point. So we're going to head over. And this might take me a second because sometimes it takes a little while to go get the website. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we are headed over to our Google folder. So you should see this. You should have access to it. If you don't, I'm going to throw in the chat really quick. Should come up. There's the link to the Google folder. So it's right there, front and center in the chat. So come on over to the folder with me. Here's our Jane avatar before and after Who Logic resume sample. So you can go in and play with that if you want. Here's chapter 3. But what I want you to do right now is I want you to open up the value point creation exercise. For some people, creating a value point is hard. Actually, for all of us, it's hard. So what this value point creation exercise does is it forces you in boxes, basically. It's making you break down the what, the how, and the outcome to then help you create a completed value point. So here are 3 examples, and many of them, they're all pulled from what I just showed you. So the task, or the what, is analyzed food insecurity data. Okay, so this person just analyzed data. That's what they did. But how did they do it? Sometimes if you insert the words by or using, that'll help prompt you to think about how you did it. So I analyzed food insecurity data using a federal database, using Excel advanced formulas. So this how is actually telling your reader that you know how to work through and find data off of a large database. You know how to use Excel at a more advanced level, okay? So there's value in that. And then outcome. If you insert the word to, that often helps you get to why you were doing the work, the intended outcome, the actual outcome. C, to pinpoint risk factors, to develop 12 recommendations for 53 urban centers. So if you force yourself into these little cells, kind of looks like a spreadsheet, it will help you get to the how and the outcome. Why is how and outcome, why are how and outcome so important? Because this is where the value is. It's not in what you did. It's about your how and your outcome. In fact, most employers can look at a job title and pretty accurately guess what you do. It's the how and the outcome where we find the differentiators. That's what you're leveraging. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to download this document, and I want you to try to do this on your own. I want you to list a task or a project that you're currently working on. See if you can insert by or using to help you get to the how, and then write an outcome. And remember, sometimes your outcome is what you learned, the skill that you're enhancing, okay? It's okay to think about your outcome as learning, not just about the contribution to the company. Also, your outcome can be intended, and wherever you can, numerical outcomes strengthen the value point. But I want you to try this on your own right now. And I want you to see if you can throw a value point into chat. Okay? All right. So play around with that a little bit. I'm going to go back to our slide deck. We're in our Google folder. And while I'm chatting about WhoLogic, I want you to take a look at this screen, this slide. Who can be used for more than just resume design? It's most commonly used for resume development, but I can tell you, if you went to my LinkedIn profile, you would actually see in the recommendations area people who've talked about how WhoLogic has helped them with other things, like creating a value proposition. What is your proposition of value? I am a career design strategist who uses creativity, curiosity, and WhoLogic to help people become market ready and advance professionally. So that's my value proposition, and I use Who to create it. You can use Who to help you create your cover letter. And yeah, cover letters are still used. You can use it for pitching. So when you're networking, that first question you get during an interview, tell me about yourself. That's your pitch. You can use WhoLogic to help you create it. You can use WhoLogic to help you with your LinkedIn profile, your headline, and your about section. You can use it for networking. You can use it for interviewing. Who for interviewing is awesome. You can use it for behavioral based interview questions and really any interview questions you get. You can use it for negotiation, salary negotiation, and you can use it for career advancement. The goal is to help you build a valuation mindset, or what I like to call the who mindset. So it's available for you throughout your entire career. All right, I want to see what's happening in chat. Has anybody created a value point that we can all see? Yeah, I'll put my LinkedIn in a second. Okay, so here's from Allie. Led the distribution of Chromebook using Google Forms and Sheets to efficiently deliver one-to-one services to 700 students. Awesome value point. Awesome. We need to check spelling a little bit here, but it looks great. I can see what you did. I can see how you did it using Google Forms and Sheets. And what's your outcome? Efficiently deliver one-to-one devices to 700 students. Now you know how to pitch this. You know how to speak about the value of what you did, which was leading the distribution of Chromebook. Fantastic. Anybody else have a value point you want to share? Okay, promise me this. Promise me you all will all work on. Hey, thanks, Garth, for putting my LinkedIn profile in chat. Please connect with me if you like. Okay, here's another one from Win. Taught underprivileged children in Taiwan using American teaching methods to enrich the cultural and language understanding of 20+ children. Okay, so here's somebody that now I understand has cross-cultural competencies. You're using American teaching methods, so I know how you're doing the work. And your intended outcome, your outcome is to enrich the cultural and language understanding of 20+ children. That's fantastic. So now I see more than just what you did. I know how you did the work. I know the outcome you were delivering. It makes it a lot easier for you to talk about these experiences during interviewing. Okay. Anybody else want to add a value point in chat? All right. Here's one. Collected data for the BOPT software by researching building codes to assist a PhD student with his research regarding electricity consumption data. Awesome. Again, I'm seeing the what, the how, the outcome. Fantastic. Good work.